Hey, what's up, guys? Spencer Rhodes here. So, The Walking Dead is 10 seasons in, and I think most people, maybe some people disagree, but most people could agree that The Walking Dead's glory days are over. Now, you might love season 9, season 10. I'm not really talking about that. I'm just talking about in terms of ratings, hype, people going crazy on the internet, everyone just coming together and obsessing over the show, and making a billion, YouTube channels making billions of videos dissecting every little thing, just all the hype and just everything, all the merchandise that used to be made. McFarlane Toys used to make action figures. They've been dead for years now. And I think that has something to do with the decline, the slight decline in the popularity of the show. Its glory days are kind of over. I feel like The Walking Dead was probably the most popular during seasons 3 through the season 7 premiere. Seasons 1 and 2, they were popular enough to keep the show going, but I think around season 3, around 2011, 2012 was when it became like a worldwide phenomenon, and everyone was just going crazy and foaming at the mouth for it, and going back to the first 2 seasons and watching it on Netflix. So by the time season 3 was airing on TV, I think most people were watching it. I think people were going crazy for it. And then seasons 4, 5, 6, I remember those years very well. It was just huge. Everyone was going crazy for it. Now, we're on season 10, and people are coming together and watching the episodes when they air, but it's just not what it used to be. Rick Grimes is gone, Maggie's gone, Michonne's about to leave. Big characters like Glenn and Carl are dead. And, I just feel like I've enjoyed seasons 9 and 10. I've enjoyed Angela Kang's direction for the most part, but its glory days are over. I feel like its glory days are over. Now, I'm not saying I want the show to be canceled. I don't want the show to end, but I feel like it's not as big as it used to be. People don't come together and talk about it as much as they used to. Every single time there's a Walking Dead anything YouTube video, it doesn't get like a billion views anymore. It's just not the biggest thing in the universe anymore. And maybe that's understandable because we're 10 seasons in, and it was bound to happen. I don't know. I mean, I think things like Rick leaving and stuff like that probably hurt the popularity of the show. But it's still like the most popular show on television. It's still making money, so it's not like it's going to end or anything. I'm just saying it's not as big as it used to be. It's not quite as big as it used to be. Like I said, I think the times where the show, as far as ratings and hype and discussion, as far as the peak of those things for The Walking Dead, I would say seasons 3 to the premiere of season 7, season 3 to that episode, because it was so hot then. And then people didn't like the cliffhanger for season 6. A lot of people didn't like the cliffhanger for who did Negan kill. But you have to admit, there was a lot of buzz. Everyone was talking about it. It was still, it was relevant. You got to give it that. It was relevant. It was something for everyone to just come together and go crazy and be like, who did Negan kill? Who did Negan kill for 6 months? It was crazy. And then the premiere happened, and obviously a lot of people were excited for that episode. A lot of people watched that episode. That episode got a lot of,
views and ratings and stuff. But then after that first episode, I think season 7, it kind of, for one thing, season 7 was kind of a weak season. Probably for me, I think it's my least favorite season of the whole show. Yes, I like 3 and 8 more than 7. I just thought there are some episodes that are so boring, I just straight up can't watch them. I can't sit through season 7 altogether. There's no way I could ever sit down and watch all 16 episodes all the way through unless I was paid like a large sum of money, because there's just so much that's just boring and dull. There are episodes in between that are worth watching. But I think Rick was in like 7 episodes out of the whole season, and that just didn't quite work. I mean, even with season 4, the episodes that Rick wasn't in were good, like the Governor episodes. Rick wasn't in those, but they were good, Season 7, there's a lot of bad episodes. We'll go like a bunch of episodes without seeing Rick, Daryl. Everything's depressing, everything's hopeless. Glenn and Abraham were, in a way, they were kind of the heart of the show, and I get that that was kind of the point, but still, there were some consequences after they were gone, and I mean, I'm just saying, Glenn and Abraham die, the show suddenly becomes not as good. I mean, I'm just saying, I'm not saying that they shouldn't have been killed off, but I feel like maybe there was something missing after they died. Season 7 just had a lot of problems. So I think after the Season 7 premiere, that was when things started to decline. And Season 8, a lot of people hated Gimple by then. A lot of people hated Carl's death, the trash people. There's still some issues, a little too much filler, some boring episodes in Season 8. Season 9, Rick's leaving. Season 10, Michonne's about to leave. So I feel like the show's just... There's just not as much excitement as there used to be. Its glory days are just not... It's just not the same. I think it's still a good show, and it's still a popular show, but it's just not... It's not at its peak anymore. And that's not the end of the world. It's okay. I mean, stuff happens. Anyway, there was an interview with the president of AMC, Sarah Barnett, and she's asked about when she thinks the show started to decline in quality. And she says something here that's kind of interesting. I'll read it out loud. But she says, "In terms of the quality question, I think that with 10 seasons of television, something like ER or Grey's Anatomy, shows go through spurts. We've done a lot of research on the response to it, and we certainly have our own thoughts about it. It's true to say that that season with Negan became a little too hopeless for audiences. I think that there was creative intention behind it that was really smart and thoughtful, but I think it probably pushed people to a place where it was a lot to take at a time when maybe people just didn't want to see that." So yeah, I mean, she's kind of right. I think season seven was a little too hopeless. I'm not even sure if it was the fact that it was just so hopeless. Really, it's really just the first half of season 7 that's hopeless. In the middle of season 7, in the mid finale, you get that big moment where Rick, Daryl, Maggie, everyone they come together and they're happy and they're hopeful and they're ready to fight. They're ready to go to war. So the back half is about them preparing for war. So it's really just the first half of season 7 that's hopeless. I think she makes a point. She makes a good point with that. But it's not like that's the only problem with season 7. Like I say, we just go too many episodes without seeing this character, without seeing that character. They introduce a lot of new things at one time. We get introduced to this big group called the Hilltop in season 6, and then boom, this big group called the Saviors, and then boom, this big group called the Kingdom, and then the Oceanside, and then the Trash People. And while all these new characters and all these new gigantic groups of people are being introduced in the show, we go like 3 episodes without seeing Rick, 4 episodes without seeing Daryl. I think it was just really messy, and it just didn't quite work. And something about just after the season 7 premiere, it felt like a lot of fans started to lose interest, maybe over Glenn Abraham's death, or the show becoming too hopeless, or just the fact that season 7 wasn't that good of a season. Season 7 had some good episodes, but overall it was a weak season. So yeah, I think ratings declined around season 7, around right after the premiere. I think she's right about that. Season 7 just had a lot of issues, and I think audiences, they weren't oblivious to that. I think some people stopped watching the show, or some people would go a few weeks without watching the show. They'd only want to watch like the mid-season premiere or whatever, because they thought, well, we should just skip around to like the big episodes, like episodes 1, episodes 8, episode 16, because it was starting to seem like a pattern. The show would be a little boring except for like episodes 1, 8, 15, 16. People would start skipping episodes. This was around the time where people would start doing that. There wasn't as much of a need to tune in to The Walking Dead every week anymore after the season 7 premiere. Season 7 just had a lot of issues.
And I think there was a permanent shift after that point. I think after season 7, there was a permanent shift, and the show wasn't as big anymore. People weren't as hyped anymore, and it never really went back to normal after that. So yeah, in a way, I do think she's pretty much right on the money, saying that after the season 7 premiere, things started to go haywire. Season 7, there were just a lot of issues with the audience. People weren't really happy with how the show was going and what was going on in that season with Negan and all the new communities and going a long time without seeing Rick and the hopelessness. There's just too many problems. We went from these really solid, peak points of The Walking Dead, seasons 4, 5, 6, to a really messy season 7, and then a kind of messy season 8, and then 9, 10, everyone starts leaving. So, yeah, I feel like that was the shift. That was around the time where there was the shift in the quality of the show and the hype and everything, and it never really came back. So I do think that's true. Anyway, that's all I have for this video. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and as always, don't be shy. Hit that like and subscribe. I'm not going anywhere. I make 1 to 2 Walking Dead videos per day, so please hit that subscribe button. Right now we are at 738 subscribers. My goal is to try to get to 800 in the next few months. So just remember, every subscriber counts, every bit of support matters, and is very, very appreciated. Hopefully we can get to that goal of 800. Anyway, with all that said, I'm Spencer Rhodes, and I will see you guys later. Bye.